Reading comprehension is a popular reading strategy. There are readers who cannot read effectively and quickly. There are some other readers who have really the ability of reading quickly and meaningfully with comprehension. Reading comprehension refers to ability of reading a text or passage quickly with meaningful comprehension. Hoover and Gog defined reading comprehension as simply a combination of decoding and oral skill. Pearson and Fielding 1991 mentioned the following subjects which are so vital for developing reading comprehension. Reader will participate actively. Reader should activate previous knowledge. Reader should further decide the goal of reading. Reader needs to equally observe the sentence construction. Whatever the reader can understand, he or she should monitor. Reader must question during proper conduction of reading. Skimming of text is another tool for reader. Reader is to rebate the vocabulary. Meaning formation is another part for reader. Selected portion of text can be read frequently. Overview material before starting to read. How to overview material before starting to read. Before doing some reading in certain corners, student must give some general instructions. They will have to say about the chapter or unit they are going to read. In the previous chapter we have read about dash. Now in this chapter we will read about dash. Before assuming this instruction, the student should instruct to make the quick summary of previous section and instruct the inspection of the text. It should be observed that students are doing it. The student will have to ask the question about what the subject has been discussed before beginning the reading, and to find out the important words from the text before student begins learning about whether the goals are fixed. Important words are now marked in many textbooks. Only then will the lesson be started if these words are found out. Oral vocabulary. Oral vocabulary refers to words that we use in speaking or recognize in listening. Young children learn word meaning through conversation with other people, especially adults. As they engage in these conversations, children often hear adults repeat words several times. They also hear adults use new and interesting words. More oral language experiences children have, the more word meaning they learn. Written vocabulary is a word we use in writing. The written word list is developed by beginning of school life. Characteristics of reading procedure. Reading is an intricate process. Reading performance is affected by number of connections, so on that it is not easy to explain why an individual's reading capacity may be satisfactory or otherwise. Reading is a two-way process between author and reader. Reading is greatly a visual process. Good eyesight is required in good reading. Reading is an active process, a thinking process. The reader usually reacts physically, emotionally, or intellectually with what he reads. Dyslexia. Dyslexia is a common learning deficiency that can cause problem with reading, writing, spelling. It is a specific learning difficulty, which means it causes problems with certain abilities used for learning, such as reading and writing. Unlike a learning disability, intelligence isn't affected. Dyslexia is a lifelong problem that can present challenge on a daily basis, but support is available to improve reading and writing skill and help those with the problem is successful at school and work. To enhance comprehension of reader, teacher can arrange following. Teacher assure calm and tranquil reading atmosphere. Adequate information regarding each student should be collected. Classroom should fix the goal of reading. A good teacher will assist the student in selecting the book that they are intended to read. Classroom will instruct them timely to activate previous knowledge on the same field. The concerned teacher should further instruct the student to activate the respective organ when situation will demand. The students are to be encouraged in matter of questioning. A conscious teacher can guide the student in predicting the subject properly. If the information is left incomplete, a teacher can direct the student in making right inference. A teacher can train the student on regular basis to fix the main theme. The concerned teacher should further assure the atmosphere so that students can do it. Some means are suggested below with which we can develop vocabulary for reading. Our daily life experiences can teach us new words. As a human being, we should remain watchful and observant to our life experiences, which can elevate our mind with new vocabulary. As a human being, one comes across experiences of life, so be the patient and careful observer of life. As a human being, one comes across the experiences of life throughout life. Vocabulary learning process retains throughout one's life. So is the patient. So be patient and careful observer of life. Reading is a two-way street. Though experiences of life teach us a lot of new words, majority of new words are learned from books. Relationship between vocabulary and comprehension is deep, both in case of men and children. Professor Carroll reviewed the same. Vocabulary knowledge, both in children and adults, is strongly associated with reading comprehension. 1993. Though vocabulary learning is a time-consuming process, children learn vocabulary very rapidly. They learn a lot in quicker space of time, but as their life experience are less, they do not have deeper realization of each word that they learn in the process. Give your children books with pictorial illustration. Guide them properly to predict simply by studying portrayal. Enlist the completely unknown word. Consult your teacher to drill the words with larger motive and suggestion. Enlist the words which are so frequently used. Endeavor to gather detailed knowledge of meaning of words. One can consult dictionary or encyclopedia. If you are a teacher, train the learner with new passages. Conduct a discussion on the unknown word enlisted. Already learner can be guided to guess the meaning of an unknown word simply by studying the grammatical construction of a sentence. Guide your student to follow seriously if the articulation is a proverb. An illustrative volume can be read by learners under the guidance of teacher or parent. A classroom teacher can arrange vocabulary A classroom teacher can arrange vocabulary games in the leisure of class. Vocabulary related puzzle games is good for children. They can be engaged with same at home in leisure hour. Problem of reading during conduction of reading practices. Selection of goal during reading is very common problem which usually faced by reader. There are many unskilled readers who read only to kill time. It is purposeless reading. No icon comprehension is achieved. Selection of book is equally vital like the former. It is generally done on basis of the goal of reader which is set already. If one is intending to read the theme of Primogeniture, one can plan to read William Shakespeare as you like it. Improper selection of book may lead to reading towards failure. Lead the reading towards failure. People feel shy to read loud, which brings clarity of articulation. Now, inability to read aloud is a problem. Successful reading needs good learning design. An unskilled reader very often fails to execute that. Interaction is very congenial for smooth understanding of a reader. A reader with narrow intention deliberately fails to perform the same. As we know, selection of book is immediately followed by comprehension. Very often an unskilled reader cannot carry out properly evaluation of subject read and learned already. A reader should train his or her mind to have complete impression of entire idea. If one fails to do that, schema is not properly formed. Inference making is an integral part of complete reading process. An unskilled reader very often fails to understand and execute same. Behind the failure of inference making, socio-cultural aspect play a significant role. Indian reader who has never seen raspberry is difficult for him or her to guess the same. Sociocultural issues affect the inference making of a reader. If a reader fails to activate the previous knowledge in the respective field, schema is not properly formed and inference making is not effectively carried out. A reader without clear knowledge and understanding cannot activate respective sensory organ. A reader with limited vocabulary faces limitation all around in subject understanding and comprehension. A reader may have huge vocabulary stock but without detailed knowledge of each word, knowledge and understanding remain unattained. A reader with one language cannot achieve the desired goal.